What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect Podcast. Today, I have a repeat offender back with me. Chloe is back on the podcast, and she is the first guest in my new podcast studio.
Yes, we are back, bitches.
A few things have changed about her since the last time she was here. This time, I have the pleasure to introduce her as single.
Yeah, boy. Single gal.
You can actually slide in this time, so that was a little bit different.
I might even give my Instagram handle.
Well, Chloe's going to fill us in on what's it like to be single for the first time in 30 decades, pretty much. So,
basically 30 decades.
So, how did we get here, Chloe? Fill us in.
Okay.
Since the last time you're on the podcast.
Okay, since the last time I was on the podcast, I made the decision to break up with my long-term boyfriend of 6.5 years. We lived together. We had a dog together. Yeah, I mean, it was just, like,
how did you guys meet?
crazy.
In college, right?
Okay, so yeah, we met in college. It was, like, we were out at a bar. I actually was out with friends, and, like, so was he. And then we ended up, like, I walked by myself to Pizza Luce. That's, like, where everyone went in Duluth after the bars, like, would close. I ended up walking there, though, with some guy who was, like, kind of creeping me out a little bit. And when we got to Pizza Luce, I, like, started getting, like, really annoyed with him. And, like, in front of me in line had turned around and was like, hey, what's going on here? Kind of, like, rescued me. Ew, so gross to say that way.
It's charming.
But, like, he kind of did. And then he, like, bought me pizza. We, like, hung out, whatever. And, yeah. Liked him. Thought he was awesome. I probably at the time wasn't really ready for a relationship, but started dating anyway. And yeah, so since last time I was on the podcast, I mean, I did like what everyone does, the dry January, and so I stopped drinking in January, but I pushed it, because last time I was here, we didn't drink. And yeah, it just kind of came with a lot of clarity. Like, I was kind of going through it when I was here, and I just didn't really, like, say anything.
I felt it, though. Like, I just felt, not that it was, it's hard because I don't know your relationship every day. Like, I don't get to see you guys together. I've never seen you guys together. But, like, just the way you were kind of talking about it, you just felt, like, comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, like, that's how it felt.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you're with someone for so long, like, it does get to a point where you're really comfortable and, like, you kind of stop doing the little things, you know?
Do you think that's the case for everyone or just the wrong person?
Honestly, I think wrong person, to be honest. Like, I hate to say it that way, but it's so true. It's so true just because I feel like, and it's so cliche what I'm about to say, but, like, that if he wanted to, he would. And I also just think, like, if you actually genuinely give a crap about your partner's, like, love languages and, like, care to sit and, like, nurture that, like, I feel like then, like, you can make it.
Okay, before we get deep into it, are you guys on a good page now?
I would say, like, yeah. I mean, I still have him as, like, a friend on social media and stuff.
Okay.
Low-key, I'm kind of waiting until I move out officially. Because I've moved out, but I don't have all my stuff out of there yet. So next weekend, I move out.
Okay.
So I'll probably be like, see ya. We ain't friends.
We'll be 3 minutes. She 4. Excuse me. She said bye.
Yeah.
I asked that just to see where we're at now, so you could take us back. Because what happened? Like, okay, you came in whatever it was.
It was like February or March or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was after my cruise. So
So basically, like, I stopped drinking. Kind of came with a lot of clarity. I felt like over the last, like, 10 years since, like, graduating high school, I drank consistently almost every single weekend. Like, you know, never really went a weekend without it. And especially, like, when we were together, you know, that's kind of, like, what we did. Like, we went out to dinner or, like, went for drinks or went out with friends and did that whole thing. So I just never really took time away from it. When I did take time away from it, I felt like the cloud of alcohol, like, lifted from me. And I was seeing things so clearly.
Like what?
Like, I felt like I was kind of blinded, like, my whole relationship. Like, during that time, like, I went back, I looked at old text messages. Like, we would literally fight all the time in the beginning of our relationship. And I just, like, how would I know? I'm 21 years old. Like, you know, when we got together. Like, I'm
Like,
21. I'm not, like, I had never been in a serious kind of relationship. I always would just kind of, like, jump around and, like, you know, date around, see what was up. But, like, God, this was, like, my first serious relationship. So, in my mind, I'm like, I don't really know how this is supposed to work. And we literally fought all the time. And he gaslit the shit out of me all the time. Like, always, like, put it out there that I was doing something I shouldn't be doing, like, cheating on him or whatever. At the end of the day, like, it really was, like, a major insecurity thing for him. And, like, just really insecure, always, like, projecting things onto me. You know, I was never doing anything. Like, I'm a loyal bitch. Like, I am ride or die. Like, if I love you, like, oof, yeah, it's over. Like, I don't give a fuck about anyone else.
Pause.
Yeah.
What would he, like, put on you? Like, what did that look like? Would he be like, do you have an example?
Oh, yeah. I'll give an example of just, like, me going, I mean, I never really went out with my girlfriends, just like my girlfriends, because I didn't even want the drama that came with it. Because he would literally be like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, for example, we're in fucking Chicago. Mm-hmm. And he literally, like, I got home and he was like, I bet you cheated on me. And I was like,
what, dude? And you definitely did not tell anybody that stuff.
No.
Like, you kept that to
I
yourself.
kept that to myself. And so, like, I did not say anything. Like, I just was like, whatever. Like, you're annoying as fuck. Like, if you honestly think that, like, get, like, whatever. Then, so yeah, when I stopped drinking, I started, like, looking back at all this shit and, like, realizing things. And I was just, like, I was so disconnected from this relationship. Like, so disconnected. Like, probably for the last, like, probably since January. Like, New Year's. Actually, it was probably before that. I feel like what was, like, the beginning of the end of the relationship, and that was what I started realizing was a few years ago at my best friend's wedding. His wedding, to be fair. I let him go on the bachelor trip with, like, 20-some guys to Las Vegas. He only knew and maybe 2 other of the guys that went on the trip. Well, at this wedding, one of the guys that was on the trip approached me, like, at the end of the evening, and he, like, had kind of noticed, like, we weren't really, like, together the whole wedding. Like, he, like, did not want to dance with me. Like, I was having fun with my friends, like, but was, like, nowhere to be found. And so this guy kept trying to, like, push us together, like, you guys are a couple, and I was just like, okay, like, enough, dude. Like, we get it.
That's so crazy.
So he actually came to me at the end of the night, and he was like, hey, I just want to tell you, like, told everybody in the hot tub in Vegas that, like, he doesn't want to marry you or something. And I was like, what? And so I literally cried until 5 a.m. talking to him and this other guy that told me that in this hotel, bawling my eyes out because I was like, I can't fucking believe that.
You can't unhear that and unconnect that, like, thing in your brain. Like, that's always going to be somewhere in the back of your brain, even if they're like, oh, no, we misunderstood. Even if it was explained. Yeah. That's still now in your brain.
Yeah, in my brain. And so I, like, could not sit with that. And so the next morning, like, we had plans to literally do a Sunday fun day with this whole wedding party and, like, everybody, like, it was over Labor Day weekend. And so we had planned to do Sunday fun day at their cabin. And the next morning I literally woke up, I got to I was in our hotel room after breakfast, and I said, I have to fucking say something to you. And he was like, what? I said, last night, I was literally up for, hours with these two, and they told me what you said in the hot tub in Vegas. And he goes, well, what'd they say I said? I said, what did you say in the hot tub? And he, like, didn't. He was like, well, I guess I don't really know, like, what the context is. Like, I don't really know, like, So I was like, okay, fine. I said, they basically told me that in the hot tub on the last night, you said that you didn't want to marry me. And he was like, okay, that's actually not what I said. He goes, we also were so drunk and passing around so many joints. Like, he goes, we were talking about girls and the people we were with or, like, whatever. And he said, like, we have a lot. And he goes, what I said was, we have a lot of issues that we're working on. So as of right now, I don't feel like we should be getting married. And so then I go, what fucking issues are we working on right now? Because I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you're blindsided with that?
Yeah, I was like, what? Shit. Like, honestly, what kind of issues? So that was interesting. And so we kind of argued, and so that kind of was, like, the end, like, the beginning of the end for me. Because I was like, I just, like, can't really get that out of my head. But, like, I was willing to, like, okay, like, we talked, like, we really dove into, like, a conversation about it, and so I thought everything was, like, good, like, swept under the rug, like, fine. Well, January this year, there's, like, a couple other instances in between, but, like, I don't need to dive into that super deep, but what really hit was in January, we're with the same group of people, and, like, everyone knows we are a fucking couple, like, we're here as a couple with all the friends, like, they all know we're together. And he, like, totally felt like these two were, like, hitting on me or, like, whatever, or that, like, we were being flirty. And I'm like, okay, these are friends, and I have no interest. If they have an interest, that's not my fucking problem.
That's true. You can't.
Can't help being a bad bitch. So I was just like, whatever. So we got into a little bit of an argument on New Year's Eve. Literally pulled us up into the room and like he like mediated this shit, which he did not need to do, but I obviously like totally appreciate it. Again, thought it was a really great conversation, so I thought things were good. And then in February, that's when I hit my clarity of like I took a step back from the relationship because I was like, I'm done doing the things, like you can step up and like be, you know, the other half of this relationship. And so I came to him in February. I said, something's up, something feels off, and I want to talk to you about it. And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, I don't know. I just, like, I haven't been drinking. I feel like I just have a lot of clarity right now. Like, I feel like you are not, like, putting in your, like, I feel like you're just not doing anything. Like, I'm doing everything. I do all the cooking. Like, I, like, literally, okay. Oh, my fucking God. I would wake up in the fucking morning for this man. I would, like, get his coffee. Oh, yeah. She set the drink down and everything. She was ready. So I literally would, like, get up every morning. I would start the fucking coffee for him. I would get his coffee going. I'd pack his lunch. I would, like, make sure everything was, like, good for him. And then I would worry about me. Every fucking morning. And so, like... And still, he would, like, make little comments if we were out in groups, like, of people. Like, he would just make, like, stupid little comments that I would hear. He would, like, just say, like, oh, of course, like, you would go talk to them or something. Like, just dumb shit that I'd be like, really? Because obviously, again, I'm not drinking, so I'm driver, and I'm, you know, seeing everything totally sober.
He doesn't want you to be who you are.
Exactly.
Who is social.
Exactly. And so I told him, I said, I also don't feel like you are, like, showing me that you love me. I said, I don't think you even understand what my love languages are anymore. Like, mine are physical touch and quality time. And literally it got to a point where, like, every single fucking day he would be in one room, I would be in another room. Like, I would come home from work, like, I would have to go find him in our apartment, like, to be like, hey, like, how was your day? Like, you know what time I get home. You get home earlier than me.
Oh my God, he needs to be excited to see you every single time.
Exactly. And so what kind of, like, hit for me was the owner. What's up, Zoo?
Zoo can feel it's getting intense.
I know, he can feel it's getting a little sappy. But the owner of the company that I work for, he came up and did, like, a presentation. It was called, like, What's Your Why? And I was sitting in the middle of this presentation, and obviously, like, I'm in real estate, so it was more catered to, like, you know, things, how they can make their business better. But he got to a part about, like, personal life and, like, family and relationships, like, romantic relationships, and he talked about the way he talked about his wife and, like, how he is so pumped every single day that he gets to go home and see her. And yeah, that hit for me because I was like, I just don't feel like he feels that. Like, I don't, like, I kind of am. Like, I'm pumped to come home and see him. Like, that's at least how I felt. But then after he said that, I was like, I don't know. Like, now I'm feeling weird, you know? It kind of kicked, and I was like, yeah, man, like, I don't know. So I had to tell him about it in February. And then I really sat back. I was like, yeah, I am done. Like, I don't, like, you can show me that you care, you know? And so I just kind of stopped doing, like, little things, like, here and there. Like, I would just, like, slowly pull back a little. Like, I stopped getting up, like, as early. You're about to follow your fat ass up. But I was like, so I just slowly stopped doing things. Like, I slowly stopped, like, getting the coffee done or, like, packing his lunch. That's or, like, how it goes. You know, because I was like, nope, like, you can step it up and, like, help me out with shit, whatever. I just felt like I was kind of his mom at the end of the day. And I don't like that, but it's super easy for women to step into that kind of a role because we're naturally caretakers.
Nurturing,
And so it was really easy for me to be in that role.
How did the initial conversation go when you said that and that you were waiting for him to step up to the plate? Like, how did he initially take that?
I mean, it was a really nice conversation. I felt like things were great for like a week. And then I felt like he was like, I'm like, you know.
It's hard because, like, on one hand, you're like, okay, yes, I see progress, so I know you can do it.
Yeah.
And then there's also the hand, like, I understand, like, making a difference and changing a habit takes time. Mm-hmm. Like, there's going to be a 100%,
yeah.
But it's like, I know you can do it. You just proved to me that you have it in you. So it's like, when you revert back to it, now I know it's a choice.
Exactly. Well, and it's like, it's just, like, it's all about the effort. Like, it really is. Like, if you genuinely give a shit, you will put in the effort. And, like, I just felt like I was not seeing that. So I'm like, I just don't think this man actually gives a shit. Like, at all.
Pause. I want to change this setup. So I'm going to bring in another chair. This is just, like, we're both, like...
Okay, I know, you're right.
So,
I feel that.
Pause. We're going to be right back.
So if he had wanted to put in the effort, he honestly, truly would. After that conversation, though, I knew, because I was going on a bachelorette trip to Punta Cana with a bunch of girls, that this would be, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I have a feeling he's going to pull some shit. Like, I just have a fucking feeling. I knew. I was like, I'm forwarding all my calls to my work phone voicemail.
You said, like, not today.
Because I was like, I know people are going to reach out to me for work because not everyone reads my emails. Love all y'all, but, like, no one ever reads my emails.
No shade, but shade.
No shade, but shade. And so I just forwarded all my phone calls to my voicemail. So I told him before I left, I said, if you need to get a hold of me, you can text me. Like, I'll at least see texts from, like, my emergency contacts, but I will not be getting any phone calls. And he was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So I would text him periodically. I'm in the middle of fucking Punta Cana in the Dominican, having fun with all my friends.
Yeah.
I, like, my roommate in Punta Cana is also one of my, like, longtime friends, Megan Brenny. Fucking shout out you, bitch. Love you. But so she had kind of asked me, like, how are things going? And so I was kind of telling her about, like, the last few months. And she was just like, it kind of sounds like he... like, doesn't want you to be you. And I was like, that kind of, like, hits. Like, that hits hard. Like, I kind of agree with you.
Sorry,
so we
I not get coached. I'm trying so hard. Like, maybe this way. I'm, like, creaking and crackling over here. My bad. Jesus. Okay, hold on. I'm going to be in editing, like... Now you're, like, spilling your heart out. Okay.
Yeah, so she basically, like, you know, we talked a lot about it, and I loved, like, our conversation about it, just because, like, it really kind of gave me a lot of clarity, too. And then came one of the nights. We're out clubbing. There's a club at this, like, resort we were at. We clubbed, like, almost every, like, for the most part, like, the last, like, couple nights, because we were only there for, like, 5 days. So I think it was, like, the second to the last evening, we're at the club. I, like, was just, like, we were all having a fucking fun time. And let's be honest, we're in a foreign country, we're on a bachelorette trip, all the workers and everybody there is, like, knowing that we're here on this bachelorette trip. Yeah. So they're literally trying to make us have a fun time. Mm-hmm. And so we are having a blast, and everybody leaves. I'm the only one now at this club with these random girls that we met.
Chloe! Why are you looking at me like this is normal? She's like saying like,
yeah,
no, that's not fucking normal.
I don't know, dude. Like, I just make friends, and like, I don't even care. Like, I'm very well aware of like if I'm safe or not. I was in a group of a bunch of lesbian Canadian girls. Like, I was fine. Okay. Then I realized though, I'm like, you know what? It's fucking late. I need to go to bed.
Oh, good.
Oh, finally. It's just a little self-awareness. And so they had like these little trolleys that like would take you around, like to like around the resort, because it was like kind of big. And so I walk out the club, I see this trolley, and I'm like, yo. And I have like basic Spanish skills, so like, you know, but this place like was very non-English speaking. It was very much like there was a major language barrier. Mm-hmm. And which to be expected, you're in a foreign country.
Duh.
So I asked him to bring me to building whatever. Well, he either misheard me or didn't care. And so he brought me to the other side of the resort. And so now I'm like, this don't look
because the
familiar.
way I thought I would think I was getting kidnapped.
Okay, literally though, that's on this thing. I'm looking around and I'm like, none of this shit looks familiar to me. And I'm obviously a little hammered, so, all inclusive.
Oh,
so the drinks were just flowing all day. And so I'm just like, ooh, yikes, none of this shit looks familiar. So I'm like, whatever, I got this. I got Find My Friends, so I pull up Brenny on Find My Friends, and I'm like, all right, this bitch is way the hell over there. So how do I get there? And there's no, I zoomed in, and I'm, not seeing the map of, the resort. So I'm trying to find my way through this resort with, no map. I'm just going off of
a plot of Taken.
I'm just going off my map. Then I'm noticing this security guard is low-key following me.
Jesus.
So I'm okay, I don't like it. So I just start running into wherever I can. I'm just get me the fuck out of here. Then I start having a panic attack because I'm wait a minute, okay, this is not familiar, and how the fuck I was going in circles. Because I literally was I have no map. I don't know where I'm going. And it was so windy. And I would literally just be walking and I'm like, what the fuck? So finally I whip around and I look at the security guard and I'm like, can you fucking help me?
Since you're following me.
I was like, obviously you can see I'm lost. Hello.
He's probably on his walkie, she's still going in circles.
Yeah, probably. And so I'm like, the fuck? And so I get just annoyed. And so I'm asking him to help me, and so he's like, no English, and I'm like, of fucking course you don't speak English at all. And so I'm like, you got Google Translate? So he whips up Google Translate, and so he has me speak into it in English, and then it was converting it to Spanish. But then when I looked down at what it was converting and the words that were coming out, I'm like, I did not just say that. So I'm like, the fuck? So I go, anyway, thanks but no thanks. And then I kind of just waved him away from me. Whatever.
Not flicking this man.
I didn't flick him off, but I was just goodbye.
Oh my god.
And so then I'm like, okay, I just gotta call him. I just need to talk to somebody right now. And so I go to call him. He doesn't answer. Well, all my calls are forwarded. So I now am walking, and I finally am like, oh my fucking god, I think that's my building. And so then I get up to the room, and I just fucking pass out. I wake up the next morning. I had 30-some missed calls from Nick, and a few text messages that were what the fuck? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I texted him back, and I said, I'm so sorry. I just was kind of lost last night, and I just needed to talk to somebody. And I said, but you didn't answer. And he's like, well, I texted you, and you said if you needed me to get a hold of you to text you. And I was like, at that point I was way more focused on trying to figure out where I was and get back, that I'm not looking at my text messages. Yeah. And I'm sorry that you didn't text me to say call me, you were texting me other shit. And so I was like, sorry I didn't call you back. And he was like, well, I'm fucking worried. I bet you were calling to tell me that you cheated on me. And I go, this fucking bitch is really starting a fucking fight with me while I'm on a bachelorette trip.
Why would he say... Oh my god. Did he... Oh my god. Why would he pick that opportunity to say that?
So I'm like, oh my god. So I was just ticked that whole fucking day. And he's picking a fight with me. We're now text arguing to a point where I literally looked at and I texted him and I was like, I am not talking to you for the rest of the time I'm here. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that you think I cheated on you. Every single person I'm here on this bachelorette trip with is in a relationship, engaged, married, or has a baby. So fuck off. I was being such an asshole to him because I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? I'm in the middle of a beautiful country right now, and I called you because I was feeling unsafe, and I told you that, and then you're going to come back and say, you probably cheated on me, and you were calling me to tell me. And so, yeah, I did not talk to him the rest of the trip. Our flight got...
How far into the trip was that?
That was day 3. Day 2 or 3. Out of 5. So, we got there on the first night, went to bed right away. So, this is the second night. So, technically day 3.
Okay.
And so, I still had 2 full, days left. And so I was like, I'm not talking to you the rest of the time I'm here. Like, have fucking fun, whatever. I'll see you when I get home. I didn't even bother texting him and telling him our flight got delayed or anything. So I didn't get home until like midnight on Sunday, and I had to work the next day. So I wanted to just come home, go to bed. Nope. Come home, dog's up. So I'm like, great, he's awake. And so I kind of just went, hi. And he's like, yup. And I go, oh, fuck you. And so I just start like trying to get ready for bed. Little did I know he had other fucking plans. So then he wants to tell me, we got into like an argument. Like, he brought up the cheating thing again. Then he asked me about this guy who had reached out to me like a while ago, and I felt like the conversation was just like strange, and I wasn't playing into it or anything. Like, he basically had like said to me, like, in so many words, like, I feel like you're the one that got away kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, how's your wife?
How's your wife?
How's your wife? And so he asked me about him, and so I said that was literally nothing. Like, I'll show you. Like, I would show you, but I don't have them anymore because I just felt weird about him reaching out to me. I deleted it, and I chose not to tell you. A lot of the things that I chose not to tell him is because I knew he would make it a bigger deal, even though it was literally nothing.
Damn. And so that built into why he didn't trust.
But that was like maybe a month or two before, so it's not like this had been going on our entire relationship. But yeah, and then we like actually did break up the next day because I'm like, I'm fucking done with this, done with you, we're broken up. Like, if you're really gonna come after me right now for this, like, for me doing actually nothing, then you don't deserve me.
And are you crying like breaking up at this point? Are you angry?
Oh, I'm angry breaking up at this point because I'm just like, this is bullshit, I'm done with this.
And is he crying?
Nope.
He's like,
he's pissed as well. Yeah. So
this is
angry breakup. So we broke up. We were broken up for like 2 fucking days.
Yeah, that's what
how it goes. Yeah. And so then, but during those 2 days, all we did was talk, and we got everything out there on the table of like, I'm fucking pissed at you for this. I hate you for this. Like, you did this. And it's just a lot of it. I'm like, why would you have not come to me about some of these things as it's happening? Like, he was very much like the kind of person who would be mad about a situation, never voice it, and it would come out like months later.
Down, passive aggressive.
Yeah. And then I would be like, you've been battling this for months and you haven't even said anything. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. Like, I'm a big girl. I can take it. Like, I'm not going to cry.
I do that, honestly. I'm bad at that, so.
So we broke up for a couple days and had the major conversations, and I truly thought, all right, we have crossed this. Everything is out there on the table. Now it's up to him.
Can you say what, like, key points of what he said and what you said? Like,
honestly, I don't.
On the table.
So it was like, what do you need from me in this relationship in order to continue and move forward? And I said, I need you to actually step up and do your part in this relationship. I need you to like show me that you give a shit about me. Like, I'm not asking for much. Literally, just give me a hug and spend some fucking time with me. Like, literally, that's all I need. Like
you used to do.
Like, you used to do. Like, it's really not that hard. Like, it's just not hard.
You did it before. It's a choice.
Yeah. And his were just, like, to me, honestly, kind of, like, bullshit. Like, because I was like, I'm already doing that. Like, okay. So it was just like a lot of like, he wanted me to like really chill and like scale back on a few things. He thinks I'm just like extra, and I'm like, that's just you, bitch. Like, I don't know what to say.
That's me too.
So yeah, everything was fine, and then at the end of May was Memorial Weekend, and we went to go hang out with the same group of friends. And we were having a blast. And neighbors had come from across the street, and it was, of course, a bunch of young men. And they were, like, being introduced to everybody at this place. And I was like, oh, yeah, hi, like, how's it going? Like, I'm Chloe. And had walked by me, and he goes, really? And I'm like, really? What do you mean, really? But I was like, nope, not even gonna start a fucking fight. I just was like, oh, my temper was literally through the fucking roof. And so I just removed myself from the situation. I walked down the driveway and I just sat. I'm like, I need to get the fuck away from him before I deck him right now. Because, like, I am pissed. Like, I can't say hi to people. Are you fucking kidding me? So he came out to find me, like, 20 minutes later. So cringy. He came out to find me, like, 20 minutes later, and he thought I was, like, in a hammock with some other guy. So he went to go wake him up. While I'm literally I'm watching this from the fucking shadows, and I'm just like,
no, dude, no.
And I'm just like, oh my god. So then he finally like sees me.
No, I'm embarrassed thinking about this. I'm literally like,
he sees me, and I literally go, really? I go, actually, get the fuck out of my face right now. Like, we are now officially really done and broken up. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
Shit.
Like, really? I was like, you think I came out here and decided to jump in a hammock with someone while you're literally inside?
You went and woke this man up from a nap.
Yeah.
Because of your... That was the last one?
That was, like, the last one, and then he thought I had the hots for somebody because I was liking pics on Instagram, and, like, this is, like, somebody who, like, I work with and I know, like... literally like went to college with him. Okay, coworker, I can't like family photos.
Yeah, he was way
because he's at a cabin and he has his shirt off and you're like insecure over it. Like, I'm not liking the pic because he has his fucking shirt off. I'm like, oh, look, you have fun with your family, cool, big fucking deal. Like, so that was insane. And then I went to Florida to go see my parents. My dad actually, in May, he told me, and this was like right before Memorial Weekend, which is another like thing that I brought up when I yelled at him. But my dad actually told me that he didn't think that he was the guy for me.
Why do they always do it after the fact? Like, I will break up with guys and be like, thank God. I'm like, why didn't you say anything in the moment?
No, but my dad in May literally said to me, he's like, I don't know, Chloe. He's like, I don't know what it is. Like, we can talk more about it later, but like, I just don't think he's the guy for you. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I don't know, it's just this thing I've got. And I'm like, well, thanks for fucking telling me now, 6.5 years in. Like, okay. But anyway, then me and my sister went to go visit them. He tried to pick a fight with me there because I took the GoPro to this bachelorette trip. And I had all the videos and stuff on there still. And which was fine. I watched all of them. There was literally nothing bad on there. But there was a couple of videos that were recorded for like 30 minutes because I totally forgot that it was even going, and it was like in my like purse. And like, so like we would like sit and like talk and stuff. And so we were like sharing with these Canadian girls that we met like some of the shit that like the workers were doing. Like, but like he was taking like little pieces of like,
you expose the fuck out of yourself.
For example,
we're broken
up. For example, well, no, because we had this conversation like when our actual breakup conversation. So for example, one of these videos. Okay. Anyway, actually, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. No, I'm gonna talk about it in a second because I'll bring it up when I talk about like the breakup. And so anyway, he had found the GoPro. I didn't know this though, but he like his aunt had just passed away. Like, he was at this funeral. Damn. And this was day one of me being in Florida. And so I literally called him, or I texted him. I said, hey, I'm like ready. Like, I want to hear about how everything went. And he was like, okay, sounds good. So he calls me. I'm on the phone with him for like a half an hour. He told me about like the service or like just seeing his family. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm so like sad I couldn't be there. You know, like I like hope you, whatever, but we're getting ready for dinner. So like, I'm gonna have to talk to you later kind of thing. Went to dinner, and then I like wasn't really texting him because I'm busy with my dad and my stepmom. Like, haven't seen them in 6 months, so like we're catching up. And so I'm not on my phone, and so I went to text him like when we were like going to bed, and I was like, love you, like I'll talk to you tomorrow. And he was like, okay. And I was like, oh, this fucking dick is mad right now. Like, you're kidding me.
Oh my God.
And so then the next morning, like, I had said something, like, and I just could tell he was being short with me. And I said, you want to tell me why you're being fucking short with me right now? And he was like, nope, I'll talk to you about it when you get home. Don't want to ruin your trip. And I'm like, yeah, I already have. So then it was like just dumb little, like, snarky comments. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually not talking to you for the rest of my trip. So goodbye. We were there for a week. So this was on day 2 when I'm like, do not fucking talk to me.
Again.
Yeah.
Again, every trip.
Yep. So on the last evening, me, my dad, my stepmom, and my sister had been drinking. We're playing games. We're doing the thing. And then my dad was like, you guys haven't really talked to, like, your guys the whole time you've been here. Well, my sister and, like, her boyfriend would, like, touch base, like, every evening. Like, they would FaceTime for, like, 15 minutes.
And they've been dating longer.
Yeah,
so they're like, we're going to check out.
So, yeah, but he was, like, totally, like, you're here with your family. Like, have fun. And so then my dad made that comment, and I just cried. And I was like, and he goes, oh my God, like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. And my sister knew what was going on. Like, my sister was talking, like, to me the whole time about this. And so my dad was like, oh my God. And we just kind of had that conversation. And he was like, well, I'm going to tell you, like, what I really think. And I was like, yeah, I actually would love to hear what you really think. He was like, I just don't think he, like, is a go-getter. I think that you need somebody who is, like, a go-getter. He's like, if you are ever in a situation where you, like, for example, need extra money, like, you'll go get a different job or a second job or do something to supplement your income so that you can go do things. At the end of the day, I was paying for fucking everything. I was like sugar mommy, like 100%.
Sugar mommy.
And I hated that because, like, I need someone who's gonna, like, you know, I mean, yeah, with all of our apartment bills and bills we shared, it was that. But if it was ever anything fun or, like, extra, because I made more than him, it was me fronting the bill. Yeah. And I did not like that. And so my dad obviously found out that while we were sitting there, and he was like, what the fuck? And he was like, you need someone to take care of you. I said, okay, here's the thing, Dad. I'm independent as fuck. You know this. I don't need anyone to take care of me. Like, I really don't. Do I want it? Yes, I do. And that's the difference. And he was like, well, can I ask you, do you miss him right now? And I said, fuck no, I don't miss him right now. Oh, yeah. Especially based on what kind of shit he's pulling with me. And he goes, then, he's like, I hate to say it, but, like, you kind of have your answer, and I think you need to cut the cord. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, because then you have to deal with that shit.
Yep, so the whole way to the airport the next day, bawling, crying. Like, my dad literally, and, like, my dad, my stepmom, and, like, my sister and my stepmom are, like, trying to, like, hold my hands, like, while I'm literally just, like, sobbing on the way to the airport, because I'm like, I literally have to go home and break up with this kid. Like, fuck. So I got home. I didn't tell him when I was on my way or anything, but I got home. It was late again. Walked in. I literally said, he was awake still. I poked my head in the room and I was like, hi. And he literally didn't even look up from his fucking phone, and he just did this. And I went, oh, okay. So I just got ready for bed. I went right to bed. But I noticed when I went to bed, I was like, the GoPro is not where I left it. Like, I didn't leave it there. So I'm like, oh my God, this man watched the videos on here. Because after I left Punta Cana and after, like, we had our breakup and stuff, like, just for a couple days, do you honestly think I'm going to show you anything from my fucking trip? Like, we just argued for fucking 3 days. Do you think I'm going to turn around and be like, oh, babe, look at all these fun photos? Fuck no.
No.
So I never showed him anything from Punta Cana. So,
oh my God.
So the next day I came home from work. Actually, I went to work, looked at my coworker dead in her face, and I said, if I'm acting like a psychopath for the next few weeks, it's because I'm literally going home today and breaking up with Nick. So sorry in advance. And she was like,
shit.
And she was like, oh my God, what do you need? And I was like, literally nothing. I don't even know. I'm just going to go home and break up with him. And she was like, okay. I went home, got home from work. I marched my fucking ass into the other room because that's where he spends 24/7. And I went, you done fucking eating? Because we need to have a conversation.
Oh my God.
Because at this point, I'm like, I'm just so, like, I have the ick. I don't want anything to do with you.
You're done. Come on.
So he comes out, he sits down, and he goes, you want to go first or do you want me to? I said, actually.
He said that?
Yeah, I go, actually, I would love to hear what you're so angry over.
Oh.
Because now at this point, like,
roll the tapes.
Yeah, like, I'm fucking seeing red. Well, he goes, well, yeah, he's like, I want to take the GoPro to my Seattle trip. So he's like, so I grabbed it and made sure it was, like, charged, like, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and, like, I saw the videos. Also, we met this gay couple on the last night who I loved, and one of them, like, wanted to follow me on Instagram, and I was like, fuck yeah. So he honestly thought that this guy I followed on Instagram was, like, a guy that, like, I probably fucked down in Punta Cana. And I'm like, first of all, look at his Instagram. Buddy is wearing, like, a skirt and some of the stuff. Like, yeah, he's very flamboyant, and I love him. But, like absolutely would not. I think
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, pretty evident he is gay. So, like, okay. But he goes, so, yeah, I've heard a couple things on these videos. And I go, okay, yeah, like, what part? And he's like, well, have you even watched them? I said, you honestly think I haven't? Of course I have. I know everything on those. Everything. One of the things, like, I'm not admitting shit to you. Yeah, I'm like, I'd love to hear what you think. And so he starts talking about, there was a guy who, like, we were, like, the first night, like, there was, like, a salsa dancing kind of thing, so some of the, like, workers were, like, pulling us on the dance floor, and, like, we were, like, salsa dancing. Well, this one was, like, dancing with me, and, like, you know, like, dancing can be, like, a little intimate, but, like, it's totally appropriate. Like, it's not like I'm sitting there fucking, like, grinding on him and, like, being nasty. Like, it's just salsa dancing, like, chill. Okay. And so, I was telling the Canadian girls this in this video. I was like, yeah, he was, like, dancing with me and stuff, and in, like, my ear, he was like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, I do, sorry. And he was like, oh, I feel like you're lying to me. Like, you should follow me on Instagram. And I was like, yeah, whatever, okay. So I punched my Instagram into his just to have him, like, request me. Because I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to let this man follow me. But, like, I want to let the request hang. And, like, I'll be nice because it's day fucking one. And I don't need anyone, like, a target on my back for not, like, letting this guy follow me. That's real. And so I left it, like, on the request until we got home. And then I deleted it. Because I was like, yeah, no. But he somehow found this man on Instagram. Oh,
wait, did we say his name?
We can say his name. Everyone knows his name.
The ex was in there.
He was in there. So I'm telling the Canadian girls about this. Oh, then there was this other guy that we nicknamed Mio Man because I brought a thing of Mio because I like to drink just, like, tequila water with, like, some pineapple fucking Mio because it was good and I want to stay hydrated. Well, when I had this at the bar, this guy was like, what is that? And because he was from Europe or something, and they don't have that over there. So he was, like, very interested. So I kept, like, squirting some in his. And so every fucking time this man got a drink, he'd come find me so he could have some of my Mio. That's funny. And so we nicknamed him Mio Man. Well, he was, like, following us around the whole time because, like, he was having fun with, like, the Bachelorette group, whatever. He would, like, buy us bottles of champagne and stuff and, like, whatever. He would also go clubbing with us, too. And he would just be like, Europeans are crazy. And so he was, like, twirling us around on the dance floor, whatever. Well, he got to a point where he twirled me around and he bit me on the arm. And I fucking whacked him because I'm like, no. And I'm telling the Canadian girls this. And so he goes, and some guy, like, you know, like, bit you in the arm. I go, did you hear the part where I slapped him?
Are you selective hearing?
Yeah. Oh, so he got mad about that. And so I'm laughing. While he's telling me this shit, I'm actually laughing at him. Because I'm like, the fact that you're upset over this, like, grow up.
And you would not be mad if this rolls reversed?
Fuck no. Okay. I would not care. Okay, like, perfect. It's a foreign country. You know how crazy people are on vacation. If you're not making out with someone or fucking somebody, I don't give a shit if you're dancing around, swirling someone around on the dance floor, as long as you ain't biting them on the inside of their arm. Like, that is, like, kind of intimate, a little weird.
Well, also, why are you biting anyone?
Exactly. So I'm laughing at him. Because I'm like, this is crazy. And I go, okay, for that reason alone, I go, brings me to what I want to say. Like, I go, this is, like, extremely immature and feels super toxic to me. Like, I feel like you are consistently coming at me for stuff that, like, I'm not even doing. Was it inappropriate? Sure, I'll give you that. Like, if you think, and if that bothers you, and you think that's inappropriate, and I shouldn't have been doing that, I will respect that, and I apologize for it. However, and I just started laughing. I started laughing again.
You're supposed to be like, let me say all this healthy shit that I know I'm supposed to say.
I go, but honestly, at the end of the day, I said, I don't think we should be together anymore. I said, I don't think that we're growing together. I think we're growing apart. I think that you might, like, love and care about me, but I don't think that you genuinely like me as a person. Damn. And I think that fucking sucks. Like, I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't actually like me for who I am. Like, I'm a loud, outgoing, fun person. I literally am so social. I will talk to fucking anybody.
Yeah.
I will have a fun time with anybody. And you're making me feel bad for that.
About your strengths.
Yeah. And I said, and you're almost like asking me to change that about myself. And that's just not something I'm doing. I'm never going to do that. I don't care who. Like, you knew what you signed up for when you dated me 6.5 years ago. You knew I was that person then. I'm that person now. I'm never changing that. And you've always been asking me to. I said, I'm also, like, I really don't have anything more to say. Like, we've had so many conversations in the last 6 months that, like, what do you need to hear from me anymore? Like, I'm done talking about it. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to continue to have these conversations. This is, like, ridiculous to me.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because you hold on to, like, whatever was good. Because from what I've heard, it sounded like you guys, like, kind of had a trauma bond, like, based on, like, different stuff. And not that it invalidates your, like, connection earlier, but, like, that does keep you and hold you on to somebody a lot longer than needed. And I think I've been in similar situations to that. Like, things you were sharing, I was like, oh my god, that was, like, my past relationship. Like, once you go down that road of thinking someone cheats on you and then, like, constantly thinking they're cheating on you and blaming them and say the fights, once that happens, I feel like you cannot get back from that.
You really kind of can't.
I mean, maybe with intense therapy, but it's like you're always going to question them, and I don't want to be in a relationship that I'm constantly being questioned or questioning.
I was like, you're kind of you're literally calling my character into question, and I fucking hate it. Like,
every time
you're literally acting like I am not a loyal girlfriend. Like, I have always been loyal to you. I said, literally from the get-go, I've been loyal. You fucking tore your ACL. What did I do? Oh, I don't know, packed a fucking cooler for you every single morning so that you would have, like, stuff to eat so you wouldn't have to get up because you weren't really supposed to be walking and you were recovering. I worked my ass off while we were waiting for your disability. So I was paying for everything, our rent, our utilities, everything. Taking care of a puppy, mind you, because we had a puppy at this time. I was exhausted, like running myself ragged. At this time, I was a licensed realtor, so anytime anyone needed me to show houses, it was $25 a pop. So I was literally constantly out of the house showing houses. I would be showing 8 houses on a Saturday. Like, yeah, that's $200 fucking right there. Of course I'm gonna show that. Like, of course I'm gonna do that. Right. But I would be doing it constantly. I'm like, I said, look at everything that I've done for you, this entire relationship, and you have called my character into question every fucking time, and I'm just over it. I said, I've gotten to a point where, like, I'm just so checked out, and, like, I understand, like, we have life plans, and, like, I also am really sorry that, like, this really hurts to hear, but, like, I just can't be with you. And he was, like, really shocked over it. He, like, felt, like, kind of blindsided. Like, we sat in silence, like, after I, like, said that. And then, like, we kind of talked a little bit more. He kind of, like, said some things, too, and he was like, you know, I'm, like, really sorry about all that. He's like, I've just been kind of going through a lot right now. And I said, I totally understand that, but, like, everyone kind of goes through shit, and, like, you still have to, like, be there for your partner. Like, we've literally, like, I said, it's a 50-50 partnership, like, and I was always willing to pick up the slack when you were going through stuff, but, like, when are you ever going to pick up the slack for me? Because I don't feel that.
Because did he not do it, or did you not trust him to do it?
No, he just did not do it.
Did you ever? No, because I wouldn't, like, if I were you, I would never have even put him in I wouldn't have trusted him to depend on him. Yeah. For what?
Right. So, and, you know, I tried. Like, I really tried to, but it just didn't, it never really...
And also, it's, like, on him in a sense. Like, I also get, like, he was holding on to things, but if he really truly felt that you were this person that would do that to him and he was constantly having to question, he should have left himself. Yeah, like, exactly. If he really thought you were that person. So it's, like, why would he keep himself in that situation either? Yeah. Ugh. And so that was the final straw.
That was the final. I left.
That was the final.
Well, we had a second conversation the next day because, like, I came back, and when I had come back, because I left to go call my sister and, like, just go, like, leave the apartment, and I came back and he had, like, left at the same time, and he bought me, like, a bear and, like, roses, a card, and, like, chocolate and sushi, and, like, okay, thank you, but, like, a little late. And so I came back, and he was there, and I basically said, like, I really appreciate the effort that you put in. Like, that's really nice of you. However, like, that's so late, and that means nothing to me. Facts. And he literally grabbed all of it and threw it in the garbage. And I was like, yeah, you are so fucking immature. Like, Truly. Like, at least let me eat the sushi. Fuck.
God damn, yo, I gotta waste the sushi. Oh my god.
The next day, he had texted me a long thing, and said, like, I really want to talk after work. And I said, you can talk. I don't have anything to say. And so I came home, he, like, gave me his spiel. Honestly, like, I, like, was so, like, checked out, because I'm, like, I hear you, and I get that you're, like, really trying to, like, you know, and I think it really fucking hit him then, so, like, he was crying. But I was also crying equally, because I'm, like, this is, like, super hard for me. I said, you act like this is, like, a decision I just made overnight. Like, I've been literally thinking about this for, like, 6 months. And I said, since our first conversation, I said, and I've just stepped back, and I've just been waiting for you to just, like, wake up and, like, be in this relationship.
Yeah. Oh, they always realize way too late.
Too late. And when I'm already, like, I've got
now
the ick.
I've pictured myself without you, and I've gotten comfortable with that idea, and now I prefer that over trying to figure it out with you and trusting that you're going to finally get it together.
Yeah.
When you probably won't.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, icky.
Yikers.
So then that night, we literally took everything off social media. I deleted all
my fucking... No, you didn't.
So yeah, he literally came back from crying, and he was like, so are we, like, taking this off? He's like, so are we taking it off right now? And I was like, yeah. And so I did. Mind you, our entire relationship, he couldn't even have on his Facebook profile. Like, he had it on there, but, like, when you first, like, open someone's profile, how you can see things right away, he couldn't even have there in a relationship with Chloe Allaire. He didn't even have that there. You had to, like, go digging in his profile to find that he was, like, in a relationship, which I felt was strange. And I was, like, also, I told him, I said, it's just funny to me, though, that you're constantly, like, telling me that, like, you think I'm cheating on you, but, like, I feel like you're doing something shady. But I always had on my profile that I was in a relationship with, and so that was always there. Well, we go to change it to single, and I go pop on his profile just to look, and it was right there on the top, single. I was like, you fucking crackhead, honestly. How dare you? So that right there proved to me, like, fuck you. That really and sting. I did it super gracefully. I changed my profile picture, but I didn't post it to the feed because I didn't want attention over it. I didn't want, you know, anything like that. He changed his profile picture to it was a picture of him and I, which, by the way, I had to beg him to even fucking put on his Facebook. I was like, you never post anything about me. What the fuck is wrong with you? So then he finally changes his profile picture to a picture of me and him. Well, he posted a picture of just him, you know, and so of course everyone's seeing it, whatever. Well, then my phone was fucking going, and I'm having all these people going, oh my god, I just saw something, like, are you good? And so I'm like, yeah, I am not talking to anyone right now. Like, no. Like, I called my sister, and I was talking to my sister, and, like, I called, like, a couple other of my, like, friends, and, like, told them what was going on. But yeah, I was just getting blown the fuck up. But I basically said, like, I need to move out. So I went to work the next day. I looked at my cute little coworker, Renee, who I fucking adore. She's, like, the cutest little 60-year-old. She actually, unfortunately, lost her husband in January, so she's been kind of looking for, to rent out, like, a room in her place, like, for travel nursing and stuff, because they just did an expansion on the hospital. And so she was like, well, I have an extra room, like, you're more than welcome to, like, move in, like, until you figure it out. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah. And so I was like, I actually might take you up on that. That's so sweet. So yeah, 2 weeks later, I literally moved out with, like, most of my stuff. The only things that I still have there, because actually all that apartment was stuff that I basically bought. Yikes. Except for, like, the couches and the dining room set and stuff. But, like, the TV, I bought that. The, like, you know, mount underneath it, like, the, like, entertainment center thing, that's also something I bought on my credit card. Like, the bed that, like, we shared, mine, because we had to get rid of my old bed to get that bed. Like, we upgraded. And so that's mine. So I'm taking that. And, like, the GoPro, mine. Like, a whole bunch of other shit, mine. That I purchased, that I honestly... Bare walls in there. Well, no, because honestly, I don't give a fuck. I literally do not give a shit, because I will just get myself something better.
You're gonna give him all of that?
Well, my mom has an extra TV that's, like, she doesn't need, that was my brother was supposed to take, so I'm just gonna take that, because I'm like, I don't even fucking care to argue.
You don't want to deal with it?
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with the drama. I'm taking the bed. He already knows that, and I got the dog. So
I was gonna ask about the dog.
Yeah, he was like, I think you could probably take care of him better than I can because like you make more money. And I was like, I've been the only one taking care of him the entire 5 years. So like,
yeah, dude, moving out of like breaking up is one thing. Moving out when living with someone, so fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, and for the 2 weeks that I was there, it was so uncomfortable because it's like obviously like we're here, but like we thankfully it was a 2-bedroom, so like I just stayed in like the room that we had shared. Because it has all of my stuff in it. Yeah. Like the closet had all my clothing in it. Like the other room had all of his stuff in there. And so yeah, like we were just completely separate from the jump. Like from our first breakup conversation, he actually tried to crawl into bed with me, and I was like, fuck no, you do not deserve to be in here. I said, we are broken up. Get the fuck in the other room.
So, oh my
He was
God.
like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, threw kind of a little fit over it. And I was like, dude, grow up. But yeah, so I've been living with her for the last few months. I actually moved into like a new apartment next weekend.
Hey!
I know.
Congratulations.
I'm super pumped. I actually have to solo. I
That's
know.
Huge.
I'm pumped.
First time living alone.
I always lived with roommates, and then
so
after I left roommates, I like moved in with and like we just had been living together for 5 years.
This is about to be amazing for you. This is like a new chapter. I love living alone.
I know. So I'm like pumped over it.
Okay, so big things have already happened. So now you're back into the fucking dating scene.
Yeah.
And this girl, she would not tell me any of her stories. She literally made me wait until this podcast.
I wanted her authentic reaction.
So
like
we're hearing this together for the first time.